My name is Carole Radziwill, and Tyler might recognize me from the Bravo TV show Real Housewives of New York City. As I get older, I get a tiny bit more skeptical, and only because my story is a little more public. But generally speaking, I'm still very open to it.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so excited.
As far as the reading goes today, I mean, we can focus on lots
What's
of
in
different
your
things.
book?
I'll actually show you. This is a good question. So,
Is that the file on me?
if only.
Gotta be thicker than that.
That would be much easier. When the door opened, I was met by a very elegant-looking woman who had no idea who she was. But when I whipped out my notepad, she said, "Oh, that's the file you have on me," jokingly, which was an immediate, obvious sign that she was cynical. But
I've read plenty of skeptics and have turned plenty into believers.
now, I don't know what you do for a living. I just don't watch much TV or anything, and you may not even be in TV. I could be Broadway for all I know. I have no clue.
I was charmed when he thought that perhaps maybe I was a Broadway star. Sadly, I'm not. But honestly, I felt like he really did not have any idea who I was, which is so refreshing.
Throughout this process, usually I'll hold onto an object in my left hand.
Okay.
And that's usually how I connect. And I see you have a bag there.
Yeah, my
Nice.
little bag of objects.
Awesome.
That was a gift.
Great. There's a weird reference to an individual who died tragically at like a very early age that I have to highlight.
Oh my God! I mean,
Of course, it's sad in any case where there's a tragedy with this,
Yeah.
but from her perspective, the amount of life that she had inside of her was intense.
Yeah.
In the way that it comes across of like, I'm a force.
Yeah,
And she comes through in that way of like, I'm a force. Like if she walks in the room, I feel like everyone looks at her. It's like when she's coming through, it's like, I'm coming in. And it's like fabulous.
Incredible. I knew exactly who Tyler was connecting with. And of course, when I gave Tyler the ring, he almost immediately characterized her exactly how she was and was so on point that I felt her presence.
It seems such like a heavy,
Yeah.
like, sensation. But this is a woman that is acknowledging this feeling. The acknowledgement is like, there's no way to get through this. This just happens. But I'm viewing it as tragic. When people are old and they pass, they don't view that as tragic. When people are young and they pass, they view it as tragic.
It's sort of a little bit overwhelming when you.
But do you know of anyone
Oh yeah.
who would fit that bill?
Yeah.
Wow.
Girlfriend. Her name's Carolyn. Tyler was connecting with Carolyn Bessette, who was my closest friend and also my cousin by marriage. My late husband, Anthony, and his cousin, John Kennedy, was married to Carolyn, so she was Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy. So not only were we friends, but we were family. But I didn't get the sense at all that he knew who she was. And that ring, that was a Christmas present to me, Christmas 1998. And then she passed away in the summer of '99. Who was young and died in a plane crash.
Wow.
And that ring was one of the last gifts that I had gotten from her, so it was important to keep.
I'm so sorry.
Is she happy?
Yeah, because she's coming through fine. Like, I get a big reference to smiley face to me. I've always references to her smile, and I'm getting an acknowledgement of this. She wants you to know she's there, like, without a doubt. And I just have to go on the record and say, she viewed you like a sister. Like, when she came through, she's like my sister, the way it comes across.
Right, well, we used to say we were like sisters. So we were all family and best friends.
I love that.
I love to hear that you make a connection with my best girlfriend, and it's amazing.
Definitely. Okay.
I have another thing. I mean,
sure.
It's a watch.
I love it.
It's something that has a lot of meaning to me.
All right. Truthfully, off of this object, I'm not sure if I'm picking up an uptown. We've got nothing to do with that. So with this object, I don't think I'm connecting to the source of this object. So who would this object belong to?
That was my late husband's watch. And he had cancer. And he passed away just 3 weeks after my girlfriend, Carolyn, who gave me the ring, passed away. So it was a rough couple of years there.
Sure, understandably. My gosh.
I don't necessarily need to, think like, oh, he's the one that needs to come back and talk to me and stuff. So it's nice that she comes kind of, for some reason, I think it's nice that she comes on her own.
Yes, sure.
Because sometimes she gets overshadowed.
Oftentimes what I will find is that in a reading, the clearest communicator will come through. And she's just, that I think figure that needs to say what she didn't get to say is the way I would put it. The fact that Carolyn came through so clearly, while Carol's husband didn't really come through as strongly, goes to show just how much Carolyn needed to communicate a message.
I was always curious. I wanted to know if people die together or close together, do their souls stay together?
Well, if people knew each other in life and had a connection in life, then oftentimes they'll make a connection on the other side, regardless of the timing in which someone passed. If it happens to correlate as being very close, then they still make a connection on the other side, just like they would in life. So I have no doubt that your husband and she, have a connection, no doubt, on the other side.
Of course.
So that definitely is an element that
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
She is referencing to like a bunch of love. She's with a dog that passed on the other side as well. That she wants me to highlight. And
That's so random.
It's so random. And I mean, it was such a specific, special connection that they had. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that dog was like,
yeah,
just
like a child.
So.
Oh my God, we're
Definitely.
Yeah, dog died of a broken heart after she died. Like a year later. He was a young dog. Of course, she shows up with her dog, Friday, who she was obsessed with. I still have an 8x10 glossy photo of Friday.
There's a reference in the way this is coming across. I have to highlight the career. There's a funniness about it. Like, she's...
You can just say.
The way she comes across with this, like, she has such a close connection to you. She loves you immensely, and at your core, you're the same person, but she feels like since she's passed, a lot has changed in your career. That's her way of acknowledging it. She's doing it in a funny way. Like, she's giving me a comedic feeling to this, as like, this is funny. The way I would put this, there's so much, like...
She giving me any guidance?
Well, the way this is, there's a lot coming through with this. She's having me talk about a reference to TV show, and then I'm having to talk about reality, and I want to highlight this. Now,
I am on a reality TV show.
Okay, great, awesome.
That's nuts.
I have to talk about, like, the thumbs up with this, but there's a reference
Oh, good.
to, like, this is a good thing.
My career has changed dramatically since when she passed on. I was working at ABC News, and I was a producer, reporter. Now I'm on this immensely popular but somewhat crazy reality show, Real Housewives of New York.
Oh, well.
So you have seen it.
I know the name. I'm familiar with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Atlanta because I read Nene.
And to answer your question, my career trajectory has gone from here to here.
Yeah, and that would make sense with her passing as far as her awareness of since all of that you've done, and because it aligns with
she approves.
Yes, exactly. And finds it funny, apparently.
What Carolyn was saying, it was so true to her character, and there was no judgment in her characterization of my current career. She had a very good sense of humor. Her life was a little bit of a reality show, and she struggled with that. And I always thought, gosh, I wonder what Carolyn would have thought about this. But to hear her have such a sense of humor about what I was doing now was nice. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
It's a really comforting feeling of knowing that even when you're alone, you're not alone, and people that you've met in your life that are no longer here are still kind of with you. It's a very grounded, sort of elegant reading.
Okay, great. So I think that's everything.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
We'll go ahead and take the cameras off the tripod.
Never a dull moment.
The reality TV thing
Yes,
is so funny.
that's so interesting.
I mean, Carolyn Bessette, obviously, she was married to John Kennedy.
Oh.
So their life was a reality show, I just feel like.
Wow. This reading is mind-blowing for me. I unknowingly was bringing through Carolyn Kennedy. It's absolutely shocking, and it makes sense why she came through really strongly. So strongly that she pushed all of the other energies out of the way. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for
My reading with Carole was so unique because in bringing someone through that was such a public figure and was so well known to a lot of people, her death really had an impact on a whole nation, on a whole world. And in that way, I think that not only will Carole leave with a sense of closure, but in a bigger way, everyone can benefit from knowing that Carolyn Kennedy is at peace and that she came through and had a very close connection to a dear friend.